Ladies and gentlemen out there of the Tag Nation, welcome to another episode of High Tag with us, members of Tag. Discuss whatever pay-per-views, PLEs, or any special events that go down in wrestling. And today, we're discussing last night's AEW Full Gear. Hear what we have to say, but first, that intro.
T.A.G.
Yeah, that's tag shit.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama, I don't really want.
Yep. Tag Nation.
Yo.
It's your boy, Beltless Scootaloo. I'll get to that in a minute. And I'm here with Jaeger Sadtastic, not so fantastic, because he couldn't reclaim the championship. I lost the championship, and the current champ, we'll see if he shows up or not. Whatever. But yeah, today, we are discussing AEW Full Gear. And it went down.
Oh yeah.
If I had to truly give it a rating, just to rate it, I would definitely give it a good solid 7 or 8 out of a pay-per-view. It definitely had some good moments, some good matches. One of them we will probably talk about in detail because our group chat was going crazy during one match. But yeah, Jaeger, what you got?
Unintentionally blending in with this background is what I'm doing. But aside from that, man, this show was a hell of a show. It threw in a dramatic little swerve that really made my predictions for the night really come off, but still ended up with the same result. Other matches, I'm not. I mean, I called them wrong, but I'm not mad at the results. So
No, I'm not. I'm in the same boat. I'm not mad at the results, but
yeah.
Let's get to it. If you new to AEW pay-per-views, their pre-show are 0 hours, usually take place on YouTube. They usually have some pre-show matches, and Full Gear had 3. First up, for the ROH World Championship, we had the champ, Eddie Kingston, defending against Jay Lethal. And of course, Jay Lethal had the Crew. I don't know what their faction name is, but he had them all there.
Yeah, I can't ever remember.
I'm gonna say he had them all there. If y'all know, when I discuss these quick tags and things like that, when there's usually title matches, especially when it's on pre-shows or on regular TV, you can feel a title change happening. This didn't feel like a title change was going to happen. You know, because this match was a result of Jeff Jarrett winning the street fight against Eddie Kingston. Then it was like, okay, Lethal finally threw out the challenge for it to go down at Full Gear, and boom, here we are. If you like Eddie Kingston, of course you're gonna like the match. If you like Jay Lethal and the Crew, you're gonna watch the match. But it was pretty standard. We knew that they was gonna interfere at some point. I mean, he has Jeff Jarrett, Karen Jarrett, Santam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt. There's always going to be some chicanery and shenanigans happening. Let's just face it. Towards the closing moments of the match, Ortiz did come out and he played equalizer to help out Kingston. And it was weird because after Kingston picked up the dub from beating Lethal, I honestly thought Ortiz was about to club Kingston over the head.
Oh, definitely.
Because it looked like he was like ready to just, you know.
Yeah, just giving him that nod. I was like, yeah, you bet to hit him, right?
Exactly. Zach goes, "Oh, he bought the deck him," but no.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, all
well,
right.
speaking of Kingston, we can go ahead and say it because it did happen on the main show. So, of course, AEW is throwing their first ever Continental Classic. 12 wrestlers are going to be in this tournament. It
Yep. Yep.
starts Wednesday and it ends at World's End December 30th. Well, Kingston,
Now,
okay,
oh, I was gonna say for those that are unfamiliar or eye rolling right now, going, "Oh shit, another damn tournament that Tony
right,
Khan is coming up with."
right,
This is different. This is going to be in the same style as the G1 Classic. It is a round
yes,
robin tournament, so you're going to have
yes,
people in different blocks. They all have to face each other, and your point total is what will matter. Not, I mean, your wins and loss. It will come down to who you've beaten and wins and losses if it gets down to that. But yeah, you go and fight everybody first. This is going to be a long stretch, but
yes.
we'll see. We'll
Um,
see what it all benefits from.
if you needed an American example, WWE a la NXT recently did it when they was trying to discover who was going to be Noam Dar's um,
Um,
number one contender for the Heritage Cup. They did their own little G1 type where, like Yeager said, everybody wrestled everybody, the points mattered, and blah blah blah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of like the reduced, dumbed down version of it. So far, we know Eddie Kingston, Brian Danielson, um,
I
Mark Briscoe, and I forgot who the fourth.
believe they said 12 total.
It's 12 total, but four names were announced, and I forgot who the
Yeah.
fourth one was. But later in the show, Eddie Kingston upped the stakes. He said, "You know what? I'm a proud champion. I'm a proud defending champion. I got these two belts. Let's make this Continental Classic the tournament of tournaments. So every match I'm involved in, I'm defending the ROH championship and the open weight championship as well.
Oh,
So ultimately, whoever wins the Continental Classic all together will just be triple crown. They'll be the first tournament winner, ROH champ, and the never open weight champ at the same time. And it was like, damn.
yeah.
So what a way to raise the stakes. But like I said, this match was pretty decent. It wasn't nothing too special other than Ortiz coming out helping the homie. Um, the next match, the BCC's Claudio Castagnoli takes on the House of Black's Buddy Matthews. Uh, this match came about from Collision on Friday at the Matthews beat Yuta. He was about to attack Yuta with a chair. Claudio came out and was like, "Nah, fam, let's have a match at Full Gear," and here we are here.
Hmm.
Same thing. It was you kind of saw who was going to win. Like I don't think at any point I thought Matthews was going to win this match.
Yeah.
I just knew Claudio was going to take it. So, but it wasn't a bad match. Had this would have been on the main card, then it would have been kind of like a maybe. But since it's on the pre-show, it was like, eh, eh.
Yeah.
So
If it actually been on the main card, then yeah, I would have probably been more 50-50 on it.
hopefully at some point we go ahead and get a full-on BCC versus House of Black rather than kind of the tease. Hopefully it just full-on happens, but we'll
I'd
see at
like
the
to
moment.
see it, but unless belts are on the line, it would have to be one hell of a grudge match.
True.
We might be onto something though. We might be like paving the road for that.
Yeah, we might be. We might be. But yeah, Claudio gets the dub over Matthews. And then we get to the main event of the pre-show. Of course, talking about for the ROH Tag Team Championships, we got MJF, whose partner will be Samoa Joe, versus BCG's the Guns. And boy, oh boy, did this match happen and did it get to where it needed to get? They stretched it out. Um, Of course, Adam Cole is injured. MJF needed a partner. Nobody was going to be his partner. Joe gave him that offer, like, "Hey, I'll be your partner. I just want a title shot." Finally, at Collision Friday, MJF agreed, and we here. And I really do love the psychology of the match because Joe came in specifically like a mercenary. He literally came in like, "I'm just gonna beat their ass. We can tag in and out, whatever, but I'm gonna beat their ass because I know now I'm guaranteed a title shot, champ." And at one point, Adam Cole did come out. He caused a distraction. MJF and Joe gets the dub. And then, Joe backs MJF in the corner and was like, "Remember our deal?" And they shook. Joe left. And then the Guns beat MJF's ass. They beat his ass, took a chair to the
I was
thigh,
just like,
leg.
oh, like,
And what
damn,
made it,
Joe. Damn,
and
Joe.
then what made it even great, Joe didn't come back.
Nah.
Joe did not come back.
I don't even think
Just,
Joe was all the way up the ramp before they started beating his ass.
you might be right. You might be right.
I think Joe saw what was happening and just kept on walking.
And he was just like, "That
He's
ain't
like,
got
hey,
nothing to
you
do with
hired me for one job.
Exactly.
One job.
I got what I wanted." But yeah, the Guns proceeded to just beat down MJF. You know what I'm saying? They used chairs, hit him in the legs, thighs, and of
Yeah.
course they were running the angle of MJF being injured. How is he going to be able to defend? Because they carted him out in the ambulance, and of course, before he was carted out, he was screaming to Adam, "Don't let them take my belt! Don't let them take my belt!" And Adam had that look like, "I do what I have to do.
I
do what must be
gotta
done.
do it for my boy.
I gotta do it for my boy. I gotta do it for Max." And funny enough, Roddy, he posted on Instagram today. I guess he was sitting back watching it and he was like, he never did that for me.
Damn.
So
That's how you know that's his best friend.
exactly. So that's ultimately how 0 Hour ended. And now we get to the main show, which I think the announcement was after the first match, but we'll get to it. The opening match is Sting, Darby Allin, and the Rated R Superstar Adam Copeland versus the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne. I'm glad this opened the show.
Yeah, if it was like in the middle of the night, it would have been it would have taken some wind out of the sails.
Yeah, it definitely would have taken some wind out the sail.
This is a good opener. This is honestly like a really good pick for an
opener. Shout outs to the Turtleneck God having a turtleneck children's choir humming his song as he came out.
That man is savage for that.
Like the Turtleneck God, like the fact that this man wrestles in a full turtleneck, sleeveless turtleneck, is just amazing.
Sleeveless turtleneck.
Then I knew Team Sting was going to win when everybody was in matching gear.
Oh yeah.
Even Copeland had face paint.
Dude,
so it was like
he's only got about 5-6 months left. He's not losing. He's not losing anymore.
So
like maybe for his very last match for a plot twist, but I don't think he's losing anymore until then.
Exactly. Now, right up in here, the predictions was going well. 3 for 3 on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Called this one correctly because I want to say Lip Dizzle was the one who chose the Patriarchy in this match.
Yeah, so we were looking all right now. Like this was like 4-0.
So everything was looking good. So I was like, okay. But other than that, the match wasn't bad, but we seen too much of this already.
Exactly.
We've seen, like, I mean, I hate to reference WWE, but it's almost like that WWE method where we've seen different variations of these
leading
6
up until
people.
this match.
Yeah, so there
I think
was
we've even
really,
seen this match, but with like less on it.
yes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was just like, we're here. Like,
I mean, the only new thing to it, and this is barely a new thing, is Ric Flair. I mean, the Crypt Keeper. I mean, Ric Flair.
fam,
Bruh.
the craziest part to that was when Christian goes over there to Rick, and Ric Flair is clearly beating up Christian Cage in front
Yeah.
of the ref.
Yes.
And it was like, oh,
Ref's
so
just
we can just
like,
let this go. Okay.
yeah. Ref's
Okay.
just like, Rick, what are you doing, man? Cut that out. He's like, just
Yeah.
right here, just
Just
watching it.
the ref watching. I was like, that's a disqualification, but okay.
Again, I have to throw it back to referee discretion is a thing.
Right. Right. Because it definitely was referee discretion.
I mean, look, man, I wouldn't. You're like 80-something-year-old Ric Flair. You're like, Rick, come on, man. Like, leave him alone.
Like, go back over there on
Rick,
your side.
hey, Nick, get over here and get Ric Flair.
But Team Sting gets the dub.
Oh yeah, but hold on. Christian though for the answer back.
Oh man, look, when things got real and towards the end of the match, things got real. Christian took the fuck off. He
Well,
grabbed
yeah,
that TNT championship and deuced.
yeah. He low blowed Ric Flair, accidentally bopped freaking Luchasaurus with the belt, and then took off.
And left. He didn't even try to like save the match for his team. He left.
No.
He left.
There was not
like,
even that's my bad, Luchasaurus. Like, nah. Like,
Christian
I don't know
was
how you
already
make
halfway at the hotel by the time this match ended.
Yeah. Man was already in the car, looking like Jungle Boy jumping in there.
He took off. And then, of course, they celebrated. I want to say it was Darby who grabbed the mic and was like, give it up for Sting. This will be the last time y'all see him in the state of California wrestling. So,
that's a
give
big
it up for him. Sting's son was in the audience, so they had a little embrace and everything. So, feel good moment. Kind of like Yeager said, most likely Sting is not losing until Revolution, unless they let him get that final dub.
Yeah.
Now, the next match definitely came sooner on the card than I expected. For the International Championship, we have the champ, Orange Cassidy, defending against Jon Moxley, and this is their rematch from All Out. Now, this is where we split in differences because Dizzle and I went for Cassidy, Juggs and Yeager went for Mox. Now, my same psychology I had with this match, I had for the Swerve and Hangman match. It was like, okay, Cassidy suffered a defeat at All Out, so he's gonna get his get back. A la Hangman lost at Wrestle Dream, he's gonna get his get back. But with this match, it definitely came earlier on the card than expected because I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be damn near co-main event.
And my thought process was like, Mox was never supposed to drop that belt to begin with.
True.
So he's going to come in with a vengeance and stomp Cassidy.
That actually makes sense. So I can actually see both ways. Yeah. I can actually see how both of those psychologies would have went.
Mox is like, Mox even covered it in his promos. Like, yeah, I was never supposed to have lost that. Like,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, he pretty much said it without saying it. But yeah, he does that, and yeah, I just imagine him coming in with a big ass chip on his shoulder. And when it started off with Orange Cassidy trying to get some moves in, and Mox is just shrugging him off, I'm just like,
right.
okay, we're off to a good way. And
Yeah,
and then multiple orange punches not taking him down. I
like
was
he
just
hit
like,
him with
oh
like 10 of them damn near. Like he hit him with a lot of orange punches.
yeah.
Like
I think
shit,
we needed to do a bonus round just for the orange punches that went on there. But
right?
but yeah, man, here you take it away because you're the one that ended up getting the W on this one.
But yeah, like Orange Cassidy hit Mox with like 7 to 10 orange punches. Mox wouldn't go down. Then he hit him with the what the beach break at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like after he hit him with so many orange punches, then he hit him with the beach break 1, 2, 3. Cassidy got his get back, and it was like, okay,
It made
cool.
sense to see it that way to prolong it for a rubber
Yeah.
match.
Now I can definitely see a 3. I don't know if it's gonna happen at World's End or not, but I can definitely see a 3. Now,
Yeah.
the issue I have is also the issue I'm gonna have when we talk about the TBS championship. They gave Cassidy such this legendary run that it's gonna feel awkward for anybody else to have that belt. Because they gave it to Mox. Unfortunately, Mox suffered an injury. Now, I think Mox probably would have, if the whole him getting injured thing didn't happen, I'm pretty sure he probably would have made us sort of forget a little bit that Cassidy had this legendary run. But now that
Mm-hmm.
it's back with Cassidy, it's like, are they going to give him such a lengthy run again? Are they going to eventually give it back to Mox? Like,
Or is
what's
somebody
going to
just gonna
be the
stomp? Somebody's got to run them over in order to like make their run look good. Like even
yeah,
like start off good. Like you can't like you either have to have like a Brian Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. type of match with Orange
yeah,
Cassidy, or you got to have somebody just run over Orange Cassidy.
yes? Like, it's
You
going to
can't
have to
have
be the most
anywhere in the middle.
squash.
Anywhere in the middle is going to be like a boring champ, like
Yes,
from the jump. I mean, but
yes. You are absolutely correct. It's definitely going to have to be a situation where it's either going to have to just be just a bar burner of a match, or they
mm-hmm.
just came in and just ran through Cassidy in like 2 minutes flat. It's like, like damn.
Yeah,
So you're absolutely
exactly.
correct on that one.
I could see.
But
We'll see. We'll see. I don't even know who the hell could come up for him. But yeah,
OC retains. We'll see what happens because, of course, a little friction was still there because
mm-hmm.
Cassie's crew of Hook and Beretta comes out. Yuta and was it just Yuta or was it Yuta and Claudio?
I think it's Claudio too.
Yuta bumped into Hook and Hook was ready to square up. And it was
Yeah,
like, oh, okay. But they separated, cooler heads prevailed, and we'll see. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get Hook and Yuta on
oh yeah,
Dynamite, Rampage, or Collision soon.
it's got to
But,
happen soon, like this week.
but where we skipped at first, I think after the first match, Tony Schiavone comes to say he had to make an announcement, and he was about to announce that officially Jay White was gonna be champion since MJF was in the hospital. Cole
Mm-hmm.
comes out and was like, "Hey, no, that's not gonna happen. I am going to defend my boy's belt." And then Switchblade was like, "Really? You're gonna defend MJF's belt in the state you're in? Cool."
Yeah, the
Bet. Matter of
usual
fact,
reaction to somebody else defending for him is like, "What the fuck? Nah, this is bullshit. You can't do this." No, Jay White started laughing.
and as matter of fact, he was like, "Look, funny enough, the gear I'm wearing is the gear I beat you in. That's cool. I'm down for it. Let's do this."
Yeah,
I can't remember where it fell in the card either, but we can go ahead and discuss it. They did announce AEW had a new signing. Actually, it was later on in the card, but this is
All right, we
where
can get there.
things went off the rails because with bonus points. And the newest signee turned out to be Will Ospreay, and it was like,
Fucking lip.
that damn Dizzle. But
But the out of
funny
nowhere
enough,
prediction.
things was pretty much in my way up until now. Up around this time, I was in the lead. Things was looking good, but I will tell you when things took a turn for the worse. The next
Golden
match,
Jet.
actually no, it was before the Golden Jets.
Oh shit.
The next
Anyways.
match, this was pretty much a gimme for the AEW Women's World Championship. You had the champ Hikaru Shida defending against timeless Toni Storm in her Hollywood homecoming, and the only shock factor in this match would have been if Toni Storm would have lost.
Mm-hmm.
They set this up for Toni to win this belt back.
Yeah.
I hated that the finish was so wonky and the ref had to clearly ignore.
Obviously.
The ref had to clearly ignore the cheating that was happening. And from what we were discussing earlier in the match, Toni Storm used the shoe. Shida kicked out. Later in the match, when Shida, what was it? Shida dealing with
the hip
Luther.
attack. Yeah.
And where Toni had like a tray of things, she had like a pan. And the objective was she was sliding the pan in her shorts, but the pan was too big.
Yeah, it was sticking out of her cheeks.
And she couldn't properly get the pan in her tights to where it was truly concealing because it was sliding down. And the fact that the ref had to clearly turn a blind eye to the fact that Toni has a whole pan on her buttocks and hip. But it ended with Toni hitting the hip attack in the apron. By the time she hits the hip attack, the whole pan is just out.
Just hanging out her right ass cheek.
Yeah, just hanging out the whole right ass cheek. You could just see the whole pan, and it was like, I hated that had to happen in the finish because. But yes, Toni wins. She gets the belt. Hollywood homecoming. Welcome home, Toni. She gets the belt. Now she's the second woman to be 3-time champ. And I just hated that it was marred by the fact that,
Yeah.
the cheating had to have a blind eye turn to it. And it wasn't like the whole Ric Flair referee discretion thing. It was like, no, clearly the ref had to ignore that there's a whole pan.
It was a whole, hanging out her cheeks.
Hanging out the cheeks. But hey, it was entertaining nonetheless. Now, this is where things took a turn for the worse for me. And
this match.
For the AEW tag team titles, we have the champs, Ricky Starks, Big Bill.
Oh man, I thought I was still doing good here.
We thought this is Roosh Dralistico of LFI, FTR, and honoring the House of Black, we had the Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black, and Brody King. This match took the turn for the worse for me.
This match was more than fine for me.
Yeah,
like
this
I
match
thought
took a turn.
I was still in the running here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because funny enough, with all of y'all choosing Starks and Big Bill and me choosing FTR, when this match ended, we were all tied.
With this match?
Yeah. We were all tied. Because with me going against the grain, Dizzle, because don't forget, Dizzle chose.
Dizzle got the point for Osprey.
But no. Dizzle chose the guns.
Oh yeah, he was
my
off
bad.
there.
No. He chose. Who did he choose that messed him up? He didn't choose the guns. Something else happened to where, like I said, at the end of this match, we were all tied.
Yeah,
or we were close to being tied. But this ladder match, boy,
this was a hell of a match.
There was some spots.
I would never take.
Moments that was in the group chat that we was like, now this wasn't the match where the group chat went crazy, but we was going crazy enough because throughout the times, every now and then, Jaeger and I will always discuss spots we would take and this, that, and the third.
Like how much you gotta pay us.
We ain't taking no power drivers on ladders. Then to be one upped, the goddamn Dante's Inferno. If you never seen big ass 6'5" Brody King hit the Dante's Inferno, it's a marvel enough to see that. But to do it on a ladder, nah, fam.
No, I'm not doing that.
But nah, fam. But it was some great action. It was some great moments. I will say this. This match to me solidified that I guess they are truly serious about Starks and Big Bill being tag champs.
Yeah, no, they have to because I mean, there's always that little like rule where like the more people that get involved in this match, it usually goes back to the champs retaining.
Yeah.
But damn, like they're actually giving them a shot, it looks like, because I mean, if you really wanted a true tag team to keep these belts, then yeah, you could have kept it on FTR and you could have run back whoever wins between the Bucks and the Golden Jets.
Yeah.
And then keep it a true tag championship. And then also you can run with that narrative, or like you can go with the assumption that it's going to be FTR because again, the Bucks and the Jets are over here talking about who's actually going to be a better tag team and all that. And who can, yeah, if you want to try and connect narratives, then yeah. But gotta remember where Big Bill came from too.
That is also true too.
Like, what was his whole thing? And I'm not gonna lie, Starks is. I already thought he was good, but he's growing more and more as a mouthpiece to me.
Yes,
and he might be a better mouthpiece than Bill's previous partner or notorious partner.
Yes.
As far as keeping things like within the realm, I shouldn't. Yeah, coherent or within the realm. Like his real one tried to he got out there sometimes.
He did.
Yeah. But going on from there, yeah, man, this is.
See, at the same time,
they're very serious.
I hate what they try to do with Starks and what they try to do with LA Knight. Is that you hear people like Starks and you hear LA Knight, they talk they trash, you're gonna automatically, oh, well, they're just trying to be Stone Cold in The Rock. Come on, come on.
You can't let anybody with charisma just be immediately equated to Stone Cold or The Rock.
Exactly.
Now, appearance-wise, I can see people making a connection between Starks and like a young Rock. I'm like, all right, you got.
But even then,
exactly,
there've been fashionable dudes in wrestling.
Yes. Oh my God! Like, yes. Hey, do y'all not see the fashionable man that is Seth Rollins every fucking Monday? Is it Monday still? Yeah.
I mean, you got the LF5 who was always in suits. You had like people like Batista who would in Evolution.
All of Evolution was looking. Oof.
So there's always been fashionable people in wrestling. Like, so it is unfair to always be like the moment with somebody with some charisma and everything like that. Oh, well, they just trying to be Stone Cold in The Rock. God damn it.
Like, no, stop running promos on each other, trying to tear each other down. Just do your thing.
But, it was a good match.
solid. It was a really good match. Plenty of spots I would not take. So yeah, always a good match then in that regard.
One of the things I will say, and I want to know this, like in retrospect, do
Okay.
wrestlers tend to get a little pay bump for specialty matches?
What you mean by like specialty matches?
Like for instance, you had normal wrestling matches on here, but then you also had ladder matches and death matches. Do they get like a little pay bump for doing these specialty matches? And from specialty matches, you're going to have specialty spots.
I'm not gonna lie, man. If you don't, then it just doesn't feel right.
Right? It really doesn't. I agree. If you don't, then it just doesn't feel right.
If you're a wrestler and you're not getting paid a little something extra for doing a Texas death match, especially with maybe Hangman Page or Swerve Strickland, yeah, you're getting robbed. I'm just gonna say it. You're getting robbed.
I 1000% agree. But Big Bill, Ricky Starks retain, and we will let you know who their opponents. Well, who the opponents that they know at some point will have to face coming up soon. But
Yeah.
this next match, and this is now I get to explain my point about with the international championship. TBS championship, Chris Statlander defends against Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I know this is an old graphic.
Okay.
So first things first, let's just call first thing first. What is Sky Blue's character now?
To be determined.
Because it seems like this is her new evolution, and they want her to be spooky or spooky-esque, but they didn't have her join up with Julia Hart.
She tried.
That is true.
She tried to shake her hand.
Then the contrasting size of the women, because you have Chris Statlander and these two women, and it was just like, boy, this is a true David versus Goliath match.
Stat's very much the oversized opponent compared to the two of them. That's not to say anything to Stat. That's just like the physical descriptions here. She's just the bigger person.
Let's just be honest. Now this is what I was talking about, because they mentioned it, but they didn't say a name. So they did say Statlander was on defense 16, while the previous champ had 25 defenses. And I was like, you gonna say the name? Which they did.
Yeah.
But it's fine. This is the issue I have with the TBS championship, kind of like with the international championship. Jade Cargill had a very memorable run because it was tied to her unbeaten streak and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you had Statlander take it, and if we're really being honest, Statlander pretty much wrestled some of the same people Cargill wrestled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was like, yeah, it's cool for Statlander to get that belt and this, that, and the third, but it was like, she's not really doing nothing with it. So,
yes, awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so during this match, it was some great back and forth action. You know, you did have Julia Hart and Sky Blue trying to, you know, how to defeat the bigger opponent, and of course, you know, themselves, you know, fighting with themselves. But the finish was actually pretty damn good. I can appreciate Statlander hitting the Saturday Night Fever on Sky, and then Julia comes up. Nope.
Yeah, that was honestly the best way for Julia to end up getting that.
I 1000% agree.
I'm here for the level up that Sky Blue did, whatever the hell that is, where she threw off the hat and then put on the crown.
Yes.
We're very clearly going to be getting some kind of feud between Sky Blue and Julia Hart, in my opinion, or maybe a union. Who knows? Maybe it'll be like I cannot remember the two women that are on NXT. Not to cross brand here, but the
Well now they on SmackDown. Isla
oh
Dawn and
yeah,
Kaylee Ray.
Aladon and Kayla. Yeah.
I'm
Wait,
sorry, Alba Fire. Alba
yeah,
Fire is
Alba
her name now.
Fire and Aladon, right?
Yes, I forgot
Yeah.
Kaylee Ray is now Alba Fire.
Uh,
So yes, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Yes,
Isla and Alba. That's what we're going with.
yes. Actually,
Okay.
you know what? I can see them end up doing it that way to where they do a unholy partnership type situation.
Hmm. I could see it.
But
We'll
yeah,
see
so
what
Julia
we'll see
Hart,
what Dark Blue wants to do now.
right? But yeah, so Julia Hart is now your TBS champion. And from Julia Hart winning, the whole House of Black was on this card, which was
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. Now, the next match, I halfway want to talk about it last. You know what? Fuck it. The next match, we'll talk about it last because that should have been the damn near main event. Yeah, I said
It
it.
was definitely a sleeper. I'll definitely agree with that.
But the next match, since we're going to skip the next match after that had to follow the carnage of the match before. But
Wait, what was the point differential here? Lip took over
okay,
here.
so
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
time,
Yeah. Lip took over.
Dizzle was up. Like he was
Oh
he
yeah.
was
No, he
up.
was up. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
up
he
by
was
the.
there was no way for anybody to come back
Yeah.
from the way he was up. But the next match, because like I said, we're gonna talk about that match last. We got the
Understood.
Golden Jets versus the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are defending their number one contendership, but if the Bucks win, the Golden Jets have to disband. So
Yeah.
that's what's on the line at this match. Um, it all happened because the Bucks was a little jealous, a little upset at the fact that Kenny is, chilling with Jericho and
I thought he was our friend.
yeah, he's supposed to be our friend. What happened to the elite? Did you just forget about us? Blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. We could have helped you with the Don Callis problem. Now, in this match here, the name I just said is the reason why I thought the Young Bucks was going to win.
Don Callis.
Yeah,
Oh, of
yes, Don
course.
Callis was on commentary, but you couldn't tell me that he wasn't going to have some member of the family to interfere.
Oh no, never.
So
Like
that's the only
if
reason why I picked the Bucks to win this, because I just knew Don Callis was going to play a role into the Golden Jets losing.
I was figuring that exactly that. I was
Yeah.
thinking worst case scenario that the Bucks actually joined Don Callis,
Oh shit!
I
I didn't even
mean,
think about that aspect. That would have been wild.
that would have been so wild. I was like, damn, like they could actually do that. I mean, as soon as Callis showed up, I thought that this was just going to be a grudge match like they did the Golden Lovers versus the Bucks back in New
Yeah,
Japan. But
but
no,
no,
man,
I
like
didn't.
when Callis showed up, I was like, oh shit, the Bucks could be joining the family. Holy crap.
That would have been wild. That would have been a wild twist if the Bucks would have joined, as
Don
Dizzle likes
Callis.
to call him, Uncle Don.
Uncle Don, no. So what
But
did he call Christian Papa Christian?
yeah,
He's a father.
that's the father of the year.
Father of the year, and then Uncle Don. Damn, he's got the whole fucked up family.
But
Ooh,
this match wasn't bad. It was an okay match. The only downside to this match, it followed the match we're going to talk about last. And any match that would have followed that would have had a hard time.
true. But
But
man, this match, I will say, I should have gone with the Jets. Like
I should have had to, because
I should have had more faith in Kenny Omega.
so I will say this personally: this match and the ladder match, I did go against my better judgment.
Ooh.
because I
Okay.
was looking at the aspect that FTR was going to win, then the Bucks was going to win. They can run it back again.
Exactly. I was looking
But
at, you know what? We're not going to get Bucks and FTR so soon. Maybe at
yeah,
the next All Out.
but hey,
Or All In, not All
um,
Out. All In.
the Bucks did try to cheat. You know, they was taking them to Dick Kick City and everything.
They did do
But
that.
Jericho and Omega wound up on top. You know, so now the Golden Jets have a tag team title shot whenever they're ready to use it. And I'm pretty sure they're probably going to save it for World's End. And
Oh,
we could
without a doubt.
now we could be dealing with an aspect where Omega and Jericho could be tag team champions.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't think it's going to happen because of the Bucks or Don Callis family. Like at that point, something's going to happen.
You know, it would be all the more sweet if I'm Don Callis to be okay with Kenny taking this win just so I can spoil him winning the belts.
Yep.
Also, embittering your relationship with your friends, the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Bucks could actually join Don Callis because of
I was
this.
about to say they could actually.
Yeah.
It could happen.
We'll see.
We'll
Pretty
see.
hype.
But yeah. And the real main event of the night, you have, well, of course, the graphic was updated, but it was Jay White versus Adam Cole. And literally, Jay White comes out, you know, Adam Cole comes out, and he was so-called ready to fight. Like
Oh, come
he
on, come
was
on.
gonna.
Let's give the Switchblade and BCG a little more comedic credit
You're
than
right.
that, man.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Because Jay White, you know what? I'm gonna go on a tiny rant when we're really done, but Jay White deserved better.
He like Adam Cole hobbled his ass down to the ring on the crutches with the boot, and then here comes the Bullet Club Gold with Jay White just limping, limping
Yeah,
their guns up,
it
just
was like this,
hobbling like, oh shit, how am I doing?
and Cole was ready to defend until he heard the ambulance back in, and with a taped up thigh and a hobble, MJF shows back up, and he was like, "I got this. I'm
Didn't
gonna
you
defend my
call it
own
pretty
belt."
much him driving that damn thing?
Yes, and he was like, "I got this. Thank you, Adam, for being a friend, but I will do this myself." Uh, and here we
Sure.
are. We get it. MJF versus Jay White. Um, I don't know if it's the true MJF effect or it's just happening this way, but it's
Mm.
starting to look weird that every opponent looks so strong against MJF going in, but then after the match, it's just like, oh, okay.
Don't do that to Jay White, bro.
And I hated the fact that this damn near happened with Jay White
Okay.
because I hated the aspect of the Guns trying to injure MJF just for injured MJF to come out on top.
Yeah.
They was better off just letting MJF be 100% or 100% adjacent. But
Or better yet, put all that whooping on them like during the match.
yes, that would have even been better. Doing it during the match, not so much to where, you know, the whole hospital
Also,
angle and all of that.
just so, but I mean, at the same time, just to like give more it like you had Adam Cole out there who was trying to help, but ended up causing more harm than good.
Yes.
Which I get it. We're all being currently like roped into the thought of who the hell is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So I get we got to throw little like things like, oh, Adam Cole's trying to help, but he's failing here. Like you should have still had more outside interference, like
Yes.
to the help of MJF.
Yes.
Like you needed more than the guns getting kicked out after putting a stomping on MJF. You needed the MJF, honestly, to get all the help he could get as far as outside interferences were concerned. Like
And
have
then,
have the acclaimed show up and beat up on BCG or some shit. Like do something to where Max, you're justifying a very injured MJF is beating a person who was the leader of New Japan for a while.
exactly. Exactly. And that's the issue I have. That's the issue I have with this whole weird MJF effect because it's like, hey, you had this man steal his belt for like a solid month.
Yeah,
Renamed it the Bang Bang Belt, which is still an amazing name, by the way.
still fantastic.
Renamed it the Bang Bang Belt. Uh, showed that I'm proven to be the better champ. This, that, and the third. And I'm not saying he got jobbed out to MJF, but it was
No.
like you gave MJF a crutch, and Jay White basically looked kind of weak for it.
Yeah.
Like
Like
it
when I
wasn't
made the
like,
prediction of MJF,
yeah,
I was kind of hoping I'd be wrong.
you know what? At certain points of the match, especially like when you were saying when Adam Cole was like kind of like there, it was like at certain spots, it was like, wait, could Jay White take this possibly? But
Yeah. Like
no.
honestly, everything was like if you were just tuning into this show like yesterday, chilling at your friend's house or some shit. If you
Mhm.
watch the lead up to this, you're over here thinking, "Oh shit, Jay White's got this in the bag."
Yes.
I mean, and everybody else that knows what pro wrestling is like, yeah, it's pro wrestling. You're still going to see a fight, but
Yes.
everything else should have gotten Jay White this W.
Yes.
Like I'm not saying that AEW did a disservice to him because let's just be fair. The American side, like over here, they don't really know what Jay White's about or what Jay White has done. But for
That's
everybody
true.
else that's in international, Jay White was like Triple H with Evolution because Bullet
Yeah.
Club was like that shit. Like
Yeah.
Gato was essentially Eric Bischoff, constantly like they had the whole thing down. Like that shit was on lock. Bullet Club ran shit for a minute while Jay White was running the shit.
Yeah.
And it's just really it's really weird. It's a little bit of a disservice to know like if you already know about that, watching him take this L to yet again MJF defending his belt while injured.
Yes.
These are
Yet again, MJF pulling double duty.
yeah. Like stop building this man up to be Superman against well, honestly, really established teams.
Yes. Yes.
He did it against the Dark Order when they were starting to come back up. He
Aussie
did it
Open.
against fucking Aussie Open when they were the freaking title holders. No, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Well, they've been title holders before. It's silly. Stop doing this to MJF. He doesn't need the prop up anymore. You're making other people come down. And
Because then now you're looking at it as now, okay, so we know for sure Wardlow is coming out to MJF, and we know Samoa Joe has a guaranteed title shot.
Yes.
So I highly doubt, even though they should, I highly doubt they pulled the trigger on Joe getting the belt off of MJF. But I'm telling you, I will throw something at the TV if they build this up for Wardlow to take the belt off of MJF. And I 100% saying this, and I truly mean this. At this moment in time, I do not think Wardlow will make a good world champion.
He hasn't been on TV enough,
And that too.
or at least not made enough of a notable presence where he's been on this camera.
Now, if he causes MJF to lose the title,
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. But Wardlow is world champion, I'm not gonna like that.
nah, MJ. I mean, Wardlow causing the demise of MJF in some regard. Yeah, honestly, now that we're talking about it, I could definitely be okay with whenever Adam Cole does turn on MJF if Wardlow's the guy helping him.
Yeah. But with this match, MJF does find a way to retain. Now,
The breeze
what
with the
also
switchblade.
right now, what also made this match, especially the ending, so weird, was that there was roughly about 6-7 minutes left on the show,
Yeah.
and they drew out. They just stretched the aspect of MJF winning. Like, in all honesty, the way it was looking, I thought
Should
Adam
have pulled
Cole
it.
was going to be like, "Ha, I didn't need these crutches. Ha, I'm walking
Yeah.
regular."
Oh man, I was ready for him to throw the crutches down, take the
Me
boot
too.
off,
I was ready
hop
for him to
around.
throw the crutches down, to be like, "Huh, this injury this whole time wasn't that bad. I just didn't want to be on your side, Max." But
Yeah.
we didn't even get the devil sighting. We didn't even get a picture of the devil.
Nah.
We didn't get a betrayal. We didn't get anything. And it was like, huh. So that was the ending. Like, it just, and then like, I even like how they tried to even tweak the aspect of would things have been different if Juice Robinson would have been there too. And it's like, no, it would have just been, it would have just been more people for MJF to just beat up on.
Yeah, I didn't really care for the. I mean, I didn't care for the slight on Juice Robinson, but at the same time, it's like, damn, like I don't know. You're talking to a guy who's a fan of Juice, though.
Yes.
Uh, but like, why did they say Juice wasn't there to begin with?
So the only thing that I can think of is I'm assuming they were running at the aspect of MJF beating the shit out of Juice on Collision.
Okay.
And I guess he beat him so bad that he just couldn't beat her. That's the only thing I'm going to assume. Like, they didn't really say anything of why Juice wasn't there, but I'm going to assume it had to do with that he took a beating on Collision.
Okay.
Or was it Rampage? One of the two.
One of the two. No. Because remember, Collision and Rampage were like a 3-hour long show.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like it was one of the two of the shows where the scuffle happened. I can't remember if it was on Collision or Rampage.
You know what? Let's add that to the point. MJF went up against Juice the night before, then went up against the rest of the Bullet Club Gold.
Yeah, he had a whole scuffle with them, and they beat his ass.
And he still ended up walking away with the belt.
Like I said, it was fine for him to walk out tag champ because he at least had Samoa Joe. He didn't even have Joe in the main event. He only just had Joe for that tag team match. And it was like, okay. And don't get me wrong, I'm fine with them making MJF look good and look strong, but to what detriment? Because now, if we're truly looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Where does BCG go from here?
I have no idea. That's what's bugging the fuck out of me right now with it. Like they need to actually start winning gold because they don't have any right now, do they?
Yeah. Like, where does BCG truly go from here? Because like you had this month-long feud with MJF and his belts. Nothing truly came of it now. So most likely MJF is going to move on to his next opponents. So what does that do with BCG?
Doesn't do shit for him. Like all this was built just to like keep MJF up, and that's kind of annoying that it's like that it shows up more and more like that.
Yeah.
Because like I'm sorry, this may not even be Tony Khan's plan, but all it's coming off as is you're kind of just sacrificing great talent to MJF right now.
Yes.
Like if I don't know if I can say this with 100% confidence, but if it wasn't MJF with the belt, I think it would have been Jay White to be winning this.
I can see that.
With the storyline being built up anywhere else, like, come on, you tormented this man holding his own belt for a month. Like, you
Yes.
don't have like a
Like,
storyline built up like that without the cash out of, well, yeah, the bad guy won here. That's how you build like a great like redemption arc or something, or like a great story to, I don't know, have the champ come back looking better. That's when you like that kind of a story is a story that you run when the champ's starting to get sour. Like MJF isn't soured yet on his run,
no.
but they still ran the shit anyway. I don't know.
But
It's
yeah.
it is what it is.
All right. So, but yeah, since we rearranged the card, at this point, the points were so far gone.
Oh,
It was even the bonus points or anything could have happened. Lip Dizzle was already going to be the new predictions champ. He took the belt off of me, and I think he's now 7-time champ. Yeah, I think he's 7-time champ. Um, of course, now he has a short window because we have Survivor Series Sunday, and
That's where he's gonna lose.
if he happens to survive, no pun intended, Survivor Series, then he has NXT Deadline, and if he survives Deadline, we all know December 30th, AEW has the final pay-per-view of the year with World's End, and boy, that would be interesting at World's End for any one of us four, because whoever wins that will for sure walk into 2024 as champ. But we have one more match to talk about. And to be honest, this was my real main event of the night. We have
It's definitely the
a
sleeper.
Texas death match between Hangman Adam Page, Swerve Strickland, and this is their rematch from Wrestle Dream. And how did we get here? Swerve beat Hangman at Wrestle Dream using Nana's crown. Hangman was like, if it wasn't for Nana, you wouldn't have beat me. This, that, and the third.
Got a point.
They started trading shots back and forth. At one point, Hangman and the Bucks won the ROH 6-man championships from the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage. Of course, the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage got it back because of the feud and the hatred between Hangman and Swerve. Swerve broke into Hangman's house, cut a promo over the baby crib, put a t-shirt in the baby crib and everything. Funny enough, I love how they were talking about the break-in as if people were there. You could clearly tell that the house was empty.
Oh yeah.
You could clearly tell that the house was empty. But
Should have added some dramatic effect. Had the
yeah,
wife been there too,
yes. So when they announced that this match was going to happen, they upped the ante and made it a Texas death match. Then they had the aspect of their rivalry was so intense to where they had like a no touch clause, and if they would have fought each other prior to the match, they would have both been suspended for the rest of the year, and that match would have been off. So from that, Hangman beat the shit out of Nana. Like, it was a lot surrounding this match. And
that was
funny
funny shit
enough,
when you beat the shit out of Nana though.
funny enough, when this match happened, I figured this was going to be my match of the night because they put on a damn good match at Wrestle Dream. So I figured personally, okay, you're putting Texas Deathmatch rules to it. This is definitely now going into this match. I knew it was going to be something. I did not realize what we were prepared for. Jesus, Herbert, Christ. Did these men do things to each other that, hey, you cannot pay me to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
You couldn't pay me to do something. And there, the man himself, our newly champ, Lip Dizzle, he's here.
It's
And
up
just
there.
like a true champion, he comes in when we talk about our final match of the night, because we saved this match to talk about last. But
Wait, hold up.
welcome we can't even hear him. You know,
Hold up. You said last match. So it means you talked about the main event already.
yeah, because this was the real main event. Let's be
This is
honest.
the real main event, man.
And then all
Let's
right, I
be
know
honest.
what you're talking. Okay, so yeah.
Let's be honest. Welcome our new 7-time champ now.
Hey, we got the big 7 on there this time.
So welcome our new 7-time champ, Lip Dizzle. But yes, funny enough, while we're talking about this match, he was the one who guessed this match correctly, which we will get behind your psychology of why you chose Swerve. Because earlier, like I told Jaeger when we talked about Moxley and Cassidy, I said the only reason why I chose Cassidy because it was get his get back. Same reason why I chose Hangman is going to get his get back.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
But
also, you don't go into people's houses and like come out a winner on the pay-per-view.
But once again, I don't think none of us was expecting the level of violence. And like I told you, Jaeger and I all the time talk about spots we will take. This whole match, no. The match started off with a damn buckshot lariat. Then he proceeded to duct tape Swerve's hands together, and you're like, okay. Proceed to find a staple gun and just start stapling that man throughout his body. And it was like, huh? Huh?
The
And
close-ups with the actual staples is what got me.
that's what the thing I'm about to say. To let you know it was real, they made sure to show you there was legit staples in that man's body. He even stapled kids' drawings to his cheek to just and it was like, what's happening here? Like, what are we truly watching here? Like, the level of violence that is happening in the first 5 minutes of this match. And we like to talk about John Moxley. This shit was just bananas. So I asked the two gentlemen, would you take some staple gun spots?
Nah.
So the first two, maybe because that's
turn your volume up just a scotch. There's your little.
Let me just pull the mic closer then.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So the first two, maybe the first two, because the adrenaline and everything, you want to get everything just started. But the spots where Hangman started stapling profusely his face, his shoulders, and just started going all around his body here and there, just for shock value, and then getting the papers and just stapling the shit on him. I was like, nah, I'm good on that. I've had staples before and not necessarily been awake when they put them in, but I was awake when they took them out. And that shit hurts.
I was about 8, busting my head open. Got got the numbing shot, but definitely felt the to the back of my head with each of those 4 staples they put in my head. But yeah, definitely remember the shit getting pulled out too.
I never had anything like that happen to me, knock on wood. So yeah.
Yeah. On top of that was just the first part. But then you get to everything. Look, the barbed wire in this match, ridiculous. Because out of everything that this match had, the one thing that I wouldn't take was that accidental spot where Swerve took the chair while Hangman was on the turnbuckle and hit him in that the barbed wire. And
got in the hair.
That was the wrestling guys out there saying, "Hey, let's add some more bullshit to this." And the way that the barbed wire just elegantly went over his head and then just across his face and then just end up yanking. It wasn't meant to happen, but that shit made for a good, horribly beautiful cringe moment for me.
And then, of course, also the one spot that was also getting pulled from Instagram. At one point, Swerve just bleeding. Hangman goes under Swerve and started catching his blood in his mouth, and it was like, what the fuck are we watching?
Then proceeded to Triple H spit it,
and that too.
I think it was the amount of time that he stayed under there with the blood just running into his mouth.
Yeah, and he's over here just like no, dude, no.
Like this whole match was literally a match full of Now, I was having a conversation with the missus, and we was talking about different match types we would have, and this, that, and the third. And at the time, the Texas Death Match was on, and I said, if the feud requires it, I'm willing to go for it.
Fair,
but I don't know if I'm willing to go this far.
I'm not down for drinking somebody else's blood for the feud.
Right? But then not only that, let's even put it even more psychology aspect. You drink a man's blood and still lose.
Ooh.
Like you did all that and lost. But
damn.
Like when Hangman hit the damn the other buckshot lariat with the barbed wire
around his throat.
And hey, everybody out there, get you a manager like nah, fam. He pulled Swerve out just so he could stay.
Yeah, that was decent points for that. Decent points for that.
And I even love the spot with the table when Nana was. And then Hangman was
like, "Come on, man, we're cool, right? We're cool, right?
Good, baby.
Come on,
like, we good, baby." And then Hangman was like, "Nah, you're gonna take this dead eye through this table." And it was like, Jesus Christ. Then of course, Brian Cage coming out, still in his Streets of Cage gear. But ultimately, funny enough, our group chat, like I said, we was going crazy when this match happened. And especially since the first 5 or so minutes was just Hangman torturing Swerve. I was like, hey, this is starting to get racist now. Now, thank God the end of the match didn't go the reverse way, because then it definitely would have been an issue.
I was about to say that. Like, now if we had the ending flips, then we all would have been like, now hold on a second there, Hangman.
Because the end, giant chain came into play and Swerve hung the Hangman, and it was like, oh shit.
Everyone's looking at it like, oh.
And after Swerve kind of choked him out a little bit, Hangman couldn't answer the 10, and it was like, oh shit, Swerve just went 2-0. With that being said, I will pass it to our new champ here. So what made you choose Swerve over Hangman?
So this is a bigger discussion point more than just this match here.
Oh, go
But
ahead.
Specifically for this match, the reason that I chose Swerve is because they're putting the rocket behind Swerve. And I
That's
didn't
true.
see them doing a 50-50 thing. I think what they decided to do was put that Swerve is the main star within this feud here. So what they're going to do is do everything that they can to make Swerve credible, which this match definitely did, because it put him at a level of where you say like John Moxley and Omega when they were doing their death matches and lights out matches and shit. And if you notice about anything with AEW, how they did in the past, that anybody that did something to that degree was pushed. Britt Baker, John Moxley, Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy to an extent, um, Cody, Brody Lee, all of these people that went into some type of match that had something akin to those stipulations always got pushed, and
Yeah.
more than likely always came out on top during those matches. So with Swerve, it was easy for them to say, okay, let's go ahead and do a 50-50 booking. He's done all this shit. Let's go ahead and have Hangman get his win back. But because it's all about Swerve, it doesn't hurt Hangman. And this is one of the things that I was like, okay, WWE doesn't seem to get this most of the time because they always do 50-50 booking. But when you got the rocket or you have the proverbial rocket strapped to somebody that you want to push later on, then you give them everything without hurting the other person. And this is one of those things, because they did the same thing with Cody and Seth Rollins. Cody is 3-0 against
Yep.
Seth or 4-0 against Seth Rollins, and it didn't hurt Seth Rollins, and you push Cody. So with this, you still do everything that you can to build Hangman up, make him more ruthless, because the beginning promos of this whole feud was about how Hangman kind of lost his shit. And he was at the top and he's falling short, so he's not there yet. This was perfect, to get him fired up, to get him pissed off and say, okay, you know what? He'll take this L here, even though it wasn't all just Swerve. You had Brian Cage, you had Prince Nana that was helping him. So it's not a complete loss to Hangman, but at the same time, it's something that's going to help him elevate himself back up. And right now, if you look at the whole as the elite, they're all in some type of disarray. And so he's not anybody special that's not going to catch any of that rainy day cloud flack from that too. So
Yeah.
and at the same time as AEW as a whole, which is one thing with Tony Khan that I appreciate now, is that if you look at AEW as a whole, it's like he's doing a course correction with everything. You look at every one of the titles and how they used to be, just because I did a video on the titles before and the state of them. And right
Yeah.
now, the majority of all those titles, minus a few here and there, are all in a state of being somewhat prominent, more so than they were last year. The TNT title being held by Christian Cage, one of the best, I'm sorry, being held by the turtleneck god.
Turtleneck God.
Cool.
You have the TBS championship, which Chris Statlander was necessarily the person to beat Jade Cargill. But at the time of this, she's gotten a little stale, because now you can see that Stat is bigger than the TBS championship. Like, she no longer needs it. She needed to beat Jade, defended a few times, which she did. And granted, to me, her reign was lackluster. They did what they
I
need to
said the
do
same thing.
at the moment. So it's perfect that they switched to Julia Hart. The AEW championship, self-explanatory right there. Don't even need to say anything about that shit. The AEW women's championship, they have it on somebody who does deserve it with her direction that she's gone. Shout out to Tony
Mhm.
Storm. But my whole thing with Sheeta, we'll get to that at some other time. The tag titles, the trios titles, everything is on point. So if you look at all of these pay-per-views so far, Tony Khan has been setting up everything to where it's like, okay, I need to make sure that this side is taken care of. We need to make sure that we got everybody lined up for here. This that is going on, we're good here. So we got these guys lined up to come in for this. And it's like everything has a purpose now. And so when I looked at Swerve and Hangman, I was like, okay, Swerve is supposed to be their top guy. And he said one thing that was very, very telling in one of his promos. And he's like, I want to be the first black AEW champion. That's going to happen for Swerve. It may
I
not
can see
happen.
that.
It may not happen now, but what they're doing at this point is building him up so that way when he does compete, nobody's going to be surprised. And you can see that if you look at any social media after this match, everybody is praising this match. And even if you look at the media scrum and MJF talking about this match the way that he did, it's already said and done at this point, and they've done their job. So that's why I picked Swerve.
Okay, that makes sense because, like I said, I picked him. I went the opposite way because the get back aspect, you know. But Jesus, the violence, the passion, and kind of like what we said earlier, I felt bad for the Golden Jets versus the Young Bucks because it was like we got to follow that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did what they needed to do on that one because I wasn't looking forward to that match anyway, and I think they needed that palate cleanser between Hangman and Swerve and the main event.
But
Yeah.
But yeah, Swerve gets the dub over Hangman, and I guess we'll see where this goes. We'll see if the feud goes any further. We'll see if Hangman is just like, you know what? I just don't know what to do now. I done lost twice to this man, all that, but we shall see. Now, with that being said, since our champ came later, in all the other matches, is there anything you wanted to go back and kind of speak on or get your thoughts and feelings?
Not as far as the entire card, but as far as a few things here and there. Mox and Orange, that's one of the things that I forgot to mention before. That's they're I was gonna pick Mox at first because it seemed simple to do that, but they're at least gonna do this 50-50 because they're building up that feud for this title with these two. And I think that's one of their ways of building this title up. Because they're building this up the way that the Intercontinental title was built up in WWE/F, more so than the TNT title. Because to me, the TNT title is more akin to the television championship in WCW.
Yeah.
And sorry, Sheeta.
Go ahead.
She deserved better than that. Now, and like I said in our chat, it was the right call and the wrong call at the same time. I felt like if you were going to put the title on Sheeta, then you shouldn't have put her up against Toni Storm, or you should have gave her the win.
They should have never gave that belt to Saraya.
That too. Or if you were going to give it to her, then have her hold it up until the point where, because Toni Storm would have made more sense to take it off of Saraya if this was the case. But to have Sheeta in this whole thing where she becomes transitional champ, all to get to the point where she's semi-transitional because she lasted a bit longer this time, but she's just gotten the short end of the stick when it comes to the AEW Women's Championship picture. Outside of her first run. I think that's mainly it.
All right,
shout out to Julia Hart.
Jaeger and I discussed it and at length. How do you feel about the booking with MJF, Bullet Club Gold, Jay White? Because we felt that they're booking MJF a little too strong. And
Jay White for sure.
Okay.
And from that, it kind of made Jay White look a little weak, especially with MJF being weakened. Of course, he loses. Then it was like, well, where does BCG even go from here? So, what was your thoughts with how everything turned out with the main event with Cole, MJF, and Switchblade?
Okay, I was so hopped up on the Swerve and Hangman match that anything after that kind of just went.
Oh shit! I was the same way. Like, I can
So
tell you this for a fact. I really didn't pay attention too much to the Golden Jets versus the Bucks.
same. I paid attention to like the second half of it because
Yeah, it was like the second half I paid attention. But yeah.
I liked all the back and forth little shit, like low blow shots at each other.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up in particular. This goes all the way back to when we talked about MJF defending the ROH tag team titles in the 0 hour at Wrestle Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we made the same comments then.
Yeah, against the Righteous.
It's like you shouldn't build the Righteous up like that and then have them just, I don't want to say squashed, but basically beat, in a handicap match by MJF himself. Granted, yes, he's the world champ, cool, but now is at the time, especially with last night, I'm more so now thinking that the Guns should have taken those titles, because if you get a fire up MJF who is like, I want my baby back. I want the Triple B back. Especially everything that's been going on. Then you have this whole situation where it's like, all right, I'm going in, damn the pain. I think they may have tried to do the whole damn the pain thing, but they just executed it horribly in my book.
Yeah.
Especially with the way that he was acting after the match. But ironically enough, if this was MJF versus Swerve pre-death match, and this same instance happened, I would have been like, I'm not surprised. It wouldn't shake a stick. But you have Jay White. You have Jay White. You have Jay White.
That's what this man said.
The motherfucker Jay White, bro.
Look, and I can understand if you want to push MJF, and that's cool. Like, I have no problem with pushing MJF, but you have to understand that there is a degree of believability that you end up passing when you do shit like this. Because if you want to push MJF and say he's gonna rah get Adam Cole there, he's there for the fans, he's got adrenaline, everything. If you're in there with somebody who is a killer like Jay White, somebody who is good at this shit, you can't go in there like a wounded deer, because that's it.
Game's over already. Game should have. That's why he was laughing his ass off the whole time. Any other opponent, I'm sorry to cut you off here, Luke.
You're good. You're good.
Damn it, man. Any other opponent besides MJF, like with the same circumstances going up against Jay White, it would have been a wash. It would have been fucking done and done. If this was New Japan, same exact circumstances, Jay White is champ.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll shut up from there. Go ahead.
No, that's the perfect point. This should have been the same way that you built Swerve and Hangman, with the way that these two came out looking after this match. This was a given. This was a complete given. If you were gonna throw this whole Adam Cole, because I feel like this shit was like just pieced together at like the last minute. Just like, oh, you know what? Hey, Cole's here. Let's go ahead and just add this shit here. Because up to the point of the match, I was sitting here like, yo, this is a nice little step that they're adding. They're going ahead and add more fuel to this storyline. So go ahead and let's pull on heartstrings. Let's get Cole in there and get Cole beat down to shit and do something with this. But you didn't. There was no devil that showed up. There was nothing more to this storyline here. You didn't have anything with Wardlow, anybody that was after MJF this entire time. Nothing elevated the story outside of this, which is why this was probably the only blemish that I had over the entire show. was that this part kind of went off like a wet fart in a sense. And I don't think it was fair for as good as the show was for this to be the one thing that you end off on. Like, it's cool to have MJF stand tall. I have nothing against that, but it's the way that the sandwich was built up until the point to where you decided to toast it. You know, it's like, cool, the sandwich looks all right, it's presentable, but if you think about how the shit was made, it's like, I mean, it looked good, but I don't like the way you put this together.
It's like, no, they built up the perfect sandwich. Just the final step, like you said, it's just they toasted it last. So they toasted everything in there. So now it doesn't taste as good as it could have.
Yeah. Adam Cole being hurt the way that he got hurt messed up Tony Khan in a way.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Tony Khan really wanted to tell this specific story. And so
Oh,
normally, no, you know what? I can't say normally because he does this a lot, where he'll want to tell something happens. If there's an audible, he doesn't know how to call the audible. He doesn't know how to Triple H. Sorry, he doesn't know how to NXT Black and Gold Triple H this shit. Because anytime something happened within NXT, he would always course correct like that. And then, okay, we're going with this person, because he always had something lined up just in case something happened. Khan wanted to tell something so bad, and I hope that he gets to tell his story, especially to this extent now that we're here.
I was about to say, at this rate, he has to tell his story, and it has to pay off at this point. If it doesn't pay off, we're like, this is what you kept all these belts on MJF for. This is why we didn't get Jay White as a champ. This is why we didn't get BCG NG.
Yeah, and that's part of the issue too, is because I said at first, I was like, they have about a few more weeks, more so to a month to get those titles off of MJF and Cole and figure out what they're going to do. And granted, I will give them props for the fact that they kind of made me eat my words a little bit with this MJF face turn. They committed to it, and it actually has paid off to an extent, and I'm fine with that. But again, there's still
my belt.
There's still a fine line that they're playing with here. And it's more so the MJF and Cole stuff. MJF being a pseudo face in this instance is cool, but the fact that they have this whole thing with him and Cole attached is making it tote that little gray area where it's like, I don't know if you want to be right here just yet. This is why Jay White. It's like, because you have a good thing going with BCG on Collision, basically holding down that show, and more so now holding down part of Dynamite as well.
But then not only that too, but then MJF himself can say he beat all 4 members.
Yeah. In a weekend.
Like, he took out Juice on Collision.
On Friday.
Did he beat the Guns in the tag match?
And Jay White all in the same night.
Then he could say a few weeks ago he beat Juice again for the Dynamite Dozen ring. So it's like, shit.
Yeah. That's why I was gonna pick the Guns initially, because I was like, well, I know Jay's gonna lose this. So the only you can do is at least give them a win in some capacity, But yeah,
anything that was frustrating, man.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good in my eyes, just in this aspect of it. Cole getting hurt it a lot, and I think that they should have just left this story alone. They should have just let it go at that point. Because if you once you find out, okay, he's going to be out for this amount of time, all right, well then we got to do something else. You still got to played with it. Go ahead.
How long do we have?
I believe he is probably, I think at the most like 4 weeks out.
A whole
Yeah.
month.
Yeah. He could get sooner, but it's
You
like
could have shelved this. You could have shelved this storyline for 4 months. Like you could have just had MJF drop the belt to who was it before Jay White? Honestly, you could have done it with Jay White, and then once Cole was like healthy, not like fresh off the freaking reserve list, but like once Cole had maybe been a month in action, you can run this story back again.
well, that's
You
part
can
of the
honestly
problem.
make the story better too, because then you're gonna just strengthen the bond. Like they've overcome injury and all this shit just to like get back at Jay White here.
Well, that's
You could have
part of the
honestly,
problem.
you could have made MJF like super injured here tonight, taken the L to Jay, let BCG run rampant. They're out of commission for like a good month or two, then they come back. Damn.
Khan didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that because again, that's part of his storytelling problem, and it's also timing. That's the problem.
He overcommit.
MJF is also up for his contract expiration.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a specific story. And now I have my own theories as far as this whole world's end thing. I'm pretty sure it's you know, my foil, my tinfoil cap shit. And it's like, you know, the title of it, World's End. And I had said last night about MJF's world's crashing around him, you know, due to his past. And I feel like World's End is going to be the point where everything kind of culminates into everything that's been going on. And
we get the return of Phil Brooks.
Khan didn't want that. He didn't want to let off the gas on that because it's like, I've been waiting to tell this story here. We've always been talking about the Bid War 2024, and we're at the cusp of this. We're here. And then Cole gets hurt, and it's just like, well, fuck. That timing right there is like, but you know what? I wrote this story. I've
MJF is Superman now.
So it's like, fuck it. Go ahead and pull that John Cena card out real quick.
Yep.
Real.
Yeah.
And
but no, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Who the fuck is the devil?
I just told you.
Because because you have a good eye. Like that's a solid guess that the internet is behind that. I'm over here thinking that it's Cole, but then this guy over here said Britt, or was that you?
No, that was Scoot. That was Scoot.
Yeah, that was you too.
Like,
that was you too.
Crazy.
Britt is a hell of a turn. If it's Britt this whole time, where the fuck has she been?
Exactly. That was my reason. It's like, where the fuck she been at?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, if we're going off of one Phil Brooks Instagram with him posting his double promo, so either he could show up back at the AEW or possibly at Survivor Series since it's in Chicago.
We'll know on Sunday if it's going to be Survivor Series.
So, but we'll see. Yeah. But I'm telling you this whole thing with the devil situation, and if this doesn't play out perfectly and this shit gets hit out the park, because see, the issue with the whole devil situation is they attacked Jay White, they attacked the Acclaim. Then it's like, okay, it's gonna have to make sense now. Like, who are these people that's been attacking people who so-called been? Because now it would only make sense if the devil person potentially attacked Samoa Joe. But it's like, whoever it is going to have to make so much sense to where it's going to be like, damn, they really played a long game with this one.
Roderick Strong, CM Punk, Adam Cole, or for the swerve of it, Britt Baker. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it's down to.
So I don't know. But
that would be a hell of a swerve for it to be Roderick Strong, because MJF has been staring at them and then keeps on brushing them aside, and then everybody that could help him is getting jumped, except for Adam!
Shout out to Next Strong Roddy, man.
Next Strong
Roddy.
And shit, he took a hell of a Next Strong bump on Collision against Action Andretti.
He did.
God damn.
I like how Chris Jericho still mentions that Action Andretti beat him.
Right?
He still gives him this man a plug even now.
I mean, yeah, I think it's over for Mr. Andretti. I think like I mean, they tried to push it, but I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's the name, man.
Yeah, it's the name.
It's a generic mid-carder name. Sorry.
That's that generic creative player name that you get in
Yes,
there. It's just like,
Action Andretti. But yeah, that was AEW Full Gear. I mean, it wasn't a bad show. I would
No.
definitely say. Oh,
that was one of my.
now that I have you gentlemen here, how do y'all feel with the aspect of AEW adding more pay-per-views?
If
a few more
for competition, yes,
you're gonna have to. Yeah.
I think it's necessary because now you're starting to get this. I don't even want to call it healthy competition, but you're getting this thing where it's like it's a necessary competitive aspect between WWE and AEW because now they're starting to throw subtle official jabs at each other. I can't say subtle jabs, but subtle official jabs now because like same thing with
Was it Ricky
Ospreay.
Starks through at Copeland?
Mm-hmm. And the thing with Ospreay was a big FU to WWE for sure.
Because his contract wasn't even up yet.
Contract and AEW has the leeway to negotiate that contract with New Japan because if you listen to Media Scrum, even Ospreay was like, I can't tell you how the deal went down. I was surprised too, but when they told me, hey, I was like, all right, cool.
Well, plus too, it was also telling when
Wait,
Ospreay
they didn't even
said,
tell.
No, from what he's saying that he wasn't part of the initial deal. He said they told him that it was okay, but initially they had already talked about it.
But remember what Ospreay said too. I didn't sign the dotted line yet.
Yeah.
So obviously they worked something out to where it was like, let man still rocking New Japan, and you got him.
He's like, hey, as far as everything's looking, I'm coming to y'all.
Yeah.
That's fine, I guess. Now it'll be interesting if he ends up going to WWE somehow.
That would be wild.
I honestly,
fell through.
after hearing him talk about it, I honestly don't see it.
I don't see it either, but it would be some wild shit.
But I mean, hey man, Endeavor's got a lot of money right now.
Oh, they have, but and that's the thing about the AEW roster is that I don't think that the majority of them can be bought like that. And that's I think that speaks to Khan and the roster itself.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there's a few people, Jade Cargill, that can just be bought like that. That's no slight to Jade. I think Jade made the perfect deal with the opportunity that she had at that moment. So shout out to her.
Yeah, man, she made the best business decision for herself.
Yeah,
for sure,
absolutely. But yeah, more pay-per-views is definitely good for them if they're going to turn it out this way because every pay-per-view that they've had so far made sense and World's End makes sense because they're taking a page out of New Japan's book with the G1 Classic, G1 Climax, sorry, and running it like this. So I think that this is perfect. Let's see what else they have.
I got no disagreements there. As far as what are they trying to move it up to? 7, 8?
I mean, what they added Forbidden Door, they added All In, Wrestle Dream, and World's End.
And
so
then World's End, so that's 4. So now we're at 8
pay-per-views now.
I'm okay with that.
I think that's solid because I think that gives you more time throughout the year to kind of build up because I think that gives you a month in between, like it's every 2 pay-per-views, there's like a month in between. So that gives you time to build, and then you can do payoffs within that if you have 2 pay-per-views back to back like that, if you're still going in the same route or if you haven't had certain matches on this card. then you have them on the next one. You continue building for that. I think it's a solid plan for them.
They will need to space those pay-per-views out better though, because All In and All Out right next to each other, or Wrestle Dream, all of that shit was like, yeah, spread those out. Like, I don't think All In's going to be moving because of it being an international show, but at least get Wrestle Dream and Full Gear. I don't know. You gotta spread the rest of those out somehow.
And then, funny enough, you see that WWE is trying to get their footprint more into the more international market, because Elimination Chamber is in Australia. They recently just announced that WrestleMania Backlash is going to be in France. You got the Saudi shows, and then they announced that one, what is it? The one's going to be in Berlin in August.
Damn.
I can't remember the name of the damn pay-per-view now. But so I see WWE is trying their best now to get a foothold in international market.
Yeah,
that's going to be the new market to do, man. Is just go international.
Well, that goes to the healthy competition aspect, or the necessary competition, because Tony Khan is making them work now. It's like, hey, because for a while they would rarely go overseas outside of like their live show tours, and then of course going to Saudi. But now, after this success, and nobody can say or dispute the fact that it wasn't All In that sparked this fire under AEW, under WWE's ass, to go and start doing stuff, because out of nowhere, it's like they got this, they got this, they got this, they got this, all this shit coming up now. It's like, I see you. But
Champ, if you want to go ahead and sign us out, unless y'all got anything else to add, you can go sign us out.
Nah. I said my piece on that. We're gonna touch on AEW's champ. We're gonna do a revisit AEW's championship states this week. But whether you loved it, hate it, don't forget to rate it, thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave all your comments, concerns, questions down below. Leave all your congratulations for my win, my 7th win, down below as well. Ladies, go ahead and, respectfully leave your your information in this man's DMs.
Where if I get any more pictures unsolicited, I'm gonna talk to my attorney about this.
Oh, I'm sorry, people, and leave your condolences, for this man's recent loss.
Okay. I mean, I'm sad-tastic, but at least I'm not beltless.
That's true.
That is true.
That's true.
That is true.
But
hey, I have 3 more chances this year.
Ooh, that's fact.
You can't let that happen. But make sure, people, that outside of all of this, because you see us here, you tag that mother effing subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But as we always say, until you see these handsome faces and hear these immaculate voices, we bid you all adieu. And as I warm up this hand for the nice too sweet, with that bada bam, we bid you all adieu. And until next time, you beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mother effers, tag the fucketh out.
Dollars make a way to make a change. Gotta be insane to make those same mistakes again. So I'm switching lane to lane. Pray the curb don't scrape.